Porsche Cup Imola Race 4 Season 2. And after Race 3, which I don't have a video up for, after I got punted off the track in Race 3, I do an excellent qualifying, winding up in third position for the start of this race. But who's in front of me but Romano Brock in first place? This is the gentleman that punted me off of the track in the last race. So I'm already feeling like my blood pressure kind of warm up and heat up at seeing him there, but I'm determined to, as Ted Lasso says, be a goldfish, forget about it, and focus on what I'm focused on. So, starting in third place with a threat of rain in this race, and so everybody's kind of talking about, are you on dry or wets? Everybody's starting on dry tires. I have it set up in the pits to go to wets. Uh, should should I need to? And that's it. We're off. And I get a great launch, pushing myself up into second place. First corner's always a doozy, though. You see the Steve Morris there trying to force his way back into second. There's a few collisions behind us as usual, but I get a pretty good start to this race and find myself in second position, right on my, we're going to call him my arch nemesis, Romano Brock. Cold tires, got to keep it clean. Braking a little bit early here, being cautious. I notice Romano is as well, so I'm just determined to stay right on him. Behind me, Steve Morris is back 1.1 seconds. We are setting a great pace right here, even early on, and just opening up the gap to those behind us. They are now 1.5 seconds, almost 2 seconds behind us, and I'm feeling pretty good so far about how this is going. Strap in, this is going to be the full race without me skipping laps. All right, down the back into the chicane. I take it fairly well through here. This is especially dangerous on cold tires. 4/10 behind Romano, 2 seconds ahead of Steve Morris behind us. So Romano and I pulling away from the pack. Really happy with the way this is going. Into the straightaway, I am 0.3, 0.2 behind Romano, 2/10 behind Romano, and this is where, on cold tires, I can decide whether I'm going to make a move or not. Romano moves to defend, I go to the outside, and maybe I was just a little too aggressive on those cold tires. Slide through the drive, being cautious. I took first from him for 1/2 second, but I have to let him take it back. And here we are. Kind of bummed, but I knew I was pushing it. As a result, Steve Morris is caught right up to me. Huge mistake. I should have just waited another lap, wait for those tires. I knew they were too cold. I should have been more cautious. Pulled away from Steve before, I can do it again. He was 2/10 behind me, he's now 7/10. Good progress up into turn 8. One of my favorite turns, you can really accelerate out of it. Down into turn 9 and 10. Slows the car down significantly here as you go uphill into the straightaway towards the chicane. Romano pulling a bit away from me at this point. But who knows what's going to happen. Steve Morris still 8/10 behind me. I gave up a massive lead for a stupid move, and I shouldn't have done it. Lesson learned there. But just you wait. All right, here we go, completing lap 2 down the straightaway. I get a good exit out of there. Steve Morris about a second behind me. I'm a second and a 10th behind Romano. He is definitely pulling away from me already. Again, I'm also really concerned about even trying to pass him. I was really nervous about passing him in that last one, simply because he took an aggressive action, intentional aggressive action, and punted me off the track last race. There's no doubt he's quick. He didn't need to do that. But here we are, the next race. Steve Morris half a second behind me. I'm 9/10 behind Romano. Lap 3. Great exit through that chicane. Steve had a good exit too. Romano 1.5 seconds ahead of me now, just pulling away, and I'm not able to reel him in. And honestly, it's probably because I'm too focused on Steve behind me. I should focus on Romano in front of me. Now, I mentioned earlier that at the start of the race, we all got a warning that there was rain heading to the area. So I have set up my pit stop, if I need to take one, to switch me to wet tires if needed. Everybody has started on dries at this point. I'm now pulling ahead of Steve Morris. He's 1.5 seconds behind me, opening up that gap. 2 seconds behind Romano, though. He is pulling away with the lead. But if I'm able to keep this up and continue to pull away from Steve, you know, I may be in really good shape here.
Watch your rejoin, man. Bailey.
Something behind us. It was not Bailey. It was another guy.
You cut me off coming on the track.
No, I didn't. That ain't me. That's Marco. Behind you.
I'm sorry, that's Marco.
2.3 seconds to
Sorry, Bailey.
Mattia behind me.
The guy in front of me is fun.
Good exit out of this turn. But I am 2.5 seconds behind Romano. He continues to open up that gap to me.
I can't count.
And I keep telling myself just to focus, get focused on him. You can reel him in. I set a 145.13 there. I am capable of setting 143s on this track. Though, to be fair, the conditions here are different than when I set 143s. The conditions here are not as hot as before. The track is cooler, so there is a little bit less grip. And that is all determined by the weather in iRacing and set by the person who set up the whole series. I'm now 3.3 seconds ahead of the drivers behind me, determined not to give up that position. We are in second place on lap 5. And, you know, if I can maintain this, it's going to be a pretty solid run to second place, especially as long as I don't make any massive mistakes. It's the usual. So just focusing on my braking lines. I know I'm quick on my braking lines, so rather than focusing on catching up to Romano at this point, what I'm doing is saying to myself, look, focus on where you practice, and that pace will come. Clearly, the pace I generally take is faster than the people behind me, so maybe I can get caught up to Romano. I had it down to 1.5 seconds a moment ago, but he gained 0.5 there. So my pace is good. The track is holding together. No sign of rain yet. Still behind Romano, but I'm being consistent. Again, I've talked in the past about consistency, and that's my objective here. Just stay consistent, stay on pace, and you're either going to catch up to Romano or not, but you are going to stay ahead of the pack behind you. Accelerate. Let the tires grip on the straight there, then come down here into fifth gear. Trying to open up a little bit more distance to Mattia behind me. About 2.3 seconds to Romano in front of me. All right. This is going to remain fairly consistent for several laps here. So I'm going to scoot forward several laps. Back markers are coming out in front of us. And you know what? They do a great job of kind of getting out of the way as we catch up. I was a little concerned that Neil in front of me right now was going to slow me into Mattia behind me. But he actually ends up moving out of the way when I get up on him. Well, actually, he moved out of the way unintentionally. There was another driver later that gets out of the way as we come up to the back markers. Mattia 2.2 behind me, but I'm losing out to Romano in front of me. I'm going to scoot forward a couple laps here because nothing much changes. Into lap 10, except the rain has started. It's just starting, not particularly heavy, and I'm not noticing any handling issues or anything at this point. See, Mattia is right behind me.
I see you back there, Mattia. I'll give you plenty of room when you get up.
So, yeah, I tell him right there, I've seen you gain up on me here. I'm not going to cause an accident if you get up on me. I'll take third place if he's able to get up on me and pass. I'm fine with that. I'd rather have second, but I'm not going to battle him.
How are the drives feeling?
And have us get in an accident.
Still good so far.
You heard somebody just ask how the drives are feeling. Somebody says still good so far. And here's the thing. Romano's 4.5 seconds ahead of me. I am, I've got Mattia, behind me by 5/10. If he has any chance of catching Romano, boy, I'd rather him take the win from Romano than Romano win at this point based on what he did to me last time. But the rain is coming and going in different parts of the track. I begin to open up a gap to Mattia a little bit, even though I saw him closing in on me earlier. But he's still with me. 5/10. This part of the track's getting wet. Still not really noticing any particular issues with driving and the wet track. Cars seem to be handling it fairly well. We're on lap 11. I've held on to second position this entire race so far. Taya gets a great run on me down this straight. He's within 3/10 at this point. Open it up to 4/10 there. This is lap 11. Down the hill. Down the straightaway. I've opened it up to 7/10 at this point. I see in front of me, Romano has not gone into the pits for wets. I'm going to stay out on dries as well. Going into lap 12. And I'm going to skip forward to lap 13. All right, lap 13. Now the rain has been coming down a bit heavier. And I am definitely noticing the car is sliding. Whether that is a result of we're on lap 13 and my tires are fried, or whether that is a result of the wet, I think it's the wet. It's getting just way too slidey here at this point. You can see that people are sliding around, cars are having problems, and I'm thinking, okay, should I go in for the wet tires at this point? I'm going to lose a lot of places if I do, but I don't know that I can keep the car on the track. I mean, look at how much people are sliding. My pace is slowed down considerably. Mataya's 1.2 seconds behind me. Lorenzo is right there. You can see him sliding around. I get a run on these back markers. But look at this. Sliding, it's hard to brake. It's hard to keep the car on the track. I've made my decision. There's 2 laps to go. I'm going to pit. And especially here, I slide. I'm barely making these turns. I got to go into the pits and get wet tires. All right. For those people who may be watching this and know a lot about iRacing, this is where I make my mistake. Here's the thing. Like, I need to do some research on how wet tires work in this regard, because I thought for sure I was going to come out, have them warm up quickly, and then be on my way racing on wet tires. You can see in the bottom right how it just switched to wet tires. It's taking a minute for them to do all the tire changes. It's agonizing watching me lose places. All right, but I'm on wet tires now, right? I'm going to have better grip than the rest of these people. I'm going to start making up all these places in 2 laps. I think I can do it. Right? Shouldn't be an issue. Except, wait, what? They don't have any grip at all. Like, the wet tires have no grip at all. I don't understand. They have less grip than the dry tires I was just on. Maybe they just need to warm up a bit or something, because this is not working. Not working at all how I intended. I gave up 2nd place for this? I give up 2nd place, and I think I've made a huge mistake at this point. I don't know how long it takes wet tires to warm up, but it is longer than I have. Longer than I have. And not only am I not catching up, there's just no grip. Not only not catching up to the people in front of me, I'm actually, I think, losing pace to the people in front of me. I should have absolutely stayed on the dry tires. Look at it. Turn left. The car doesn't even turn left. I've made a huge mistake. And unfortunately,
Stayed on dry. The wets aren't helping for anything.
yeah, you hear me complaining to people
Slow
there.
down on them sooner, then you'd have some more heat in them.
I don't know how I could have prepped better, but this is miserable. This is miserable. So, I'm in 13th place. I'm driving on wet tires that are apparently not doing me a lick of good. Maybe they've warmed up by now. Nope. Not at all. Sliding all over the place. I'm just hoping to bring the car home undamaged at this point. You can guess where this is going. I'm just gonna skip forward to the end of the race. Finish the race in 13th place. Having given up second place, I should have just stayed. Oh, look, no more rain.
Thought I was being clever.
I should have just stayed on the dry tires. That would have been a better answer. So the results are: I start in third. I finish in 13th place. I gain a little bit of safety rating. I lose only 1 point of I rating. That's fine. But man, I was all set to gain probably 64 I rating points at that point. But was not to be. So I've learned my lesson. Now, I need to go back and do a bunch of research on dry and wet tires and figure out when you're supposed to use them and when you're not, because boy, that just didn't do me any good. So, end of race 4 at Imola. I went from hero to zero real quick. Maybe next time.